Hi, friends. Welcome to this nugget-filled masterclass. Stick with me for the next 60 minutes because I'm going to be sharing the number one reason why folks are sick, frustrated, and exhausted. So maybe you've tried to lose weight and it just hasn't worked for you. Or maybe you've lost the weight and it comes right back on for no apparent reason. Maybe your digestive system is a complete mess, and maybe your immune system is reacting to every food that you put in your mouth. I can understand those frustrations. So I'll be sharing some solutions with you today, and hopefully you'll be able to pick up many nuggets that you'll be able to apply for yourself. So for decades, I was completely a wreck. I was incredibly overweight. I was inflamed. I was homebound and exhausted. My brain fog was so bad that I didn't dare leave the house. And my immune system was reacting to every food that I put in my mouth. Fortunately, there was someone who cared enough to share a solution with me, and everything changed. So 10 months later, I had lost 87 pounds. My digestive yuck was gone. I could eat any food that I wanted to with absolutely no restrictions. And probably most important to me, I was out in the community enjoying life again. Never thought that was going to be possible. So stick with me and I'll share exactly what I did to build back my health, and hopefully you'll be able to apply some things to your life as well. Grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's explore the possibilities. Let me bring up my PowerPoint here. So welcome, my name is Debbie Miller, and I'm a certified holistic health practitioner, and integrative nutrition health coach. I studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York. I also have a certification in functional nutrition for digestive health through the Functional Nutrition Alliance. So a bit about my story, shared a little bit. I'm not going to share all the gory details, but I want to kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from and why this is so important and why I'm passionate about this. So I'm guessing that some of this may sound familiar to you, even a couple of the pieces. So I was sick from birth, chronic infections, throat infections, ear infections, you name it. And I was treated with lots of antibiotics. So the antibiotics, in retrospect, killed off the good bacteria in the gut. And what we know now is that 70 to 80% of our immune system actually resides in the gut. So after all those antibiotics, I began having gut issues, hormonal issues, and more illnesses. I had horrible seasonal allergies and migraines, and my health problems just snowballed. I lost my gallbladder, which equaled more digestive problems. I had disfigured, painful joints in my fingers that I actually had to go to the doctor and get injections for. And it worked for a few weeks, and then it came right back. So after 2 or 3 tries, I just gave up on those. I had horrible brain fog. I was homebound. I didn't dare get behind the wheel of a car. And with all my digestive problems, heaven forbid I'd go and sit in a movie theater, right? So I also gained 90 pounds. At no point during this journey did I even consider the fact that any of these problems were related. So here's my before and after. On the left, obviously, is my before. This was when my son was graduating for college. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get through the ceremony. It was very, very frustrating because I mean, it doesn't look like it, but I'm living literally on broth, and no one had any answers. It's very frustrating. So maybe you've had some of these issues. Have you been frustrated and ready to give up? I was there. Maybe you suffer from terrible seasonal allergies. Maybe you're down for the count with migraines, either related to seasonal allergies or something else. No fun, right? It was every spring and fall for me. Are your hormones a hot mess? Yep, I hear you. The digestive trifecta, gas, bloating, constipation. So embarrassing and annoying. Absolutely no fun. And when you look in the mirror, right? I mean, it's just magnified. The weight is magnified by all this gas and bloating. Sugar cravings. My sugar cravings were off the chart. I can't even tell you. I was not in control, my body. Actually, my microbiome was in control, and you're going to learn why. And at this point, I just said, stop the madness. So I want you to know it took me a very long time to get to where I am today. I spent a lifetime in misery with these chronic health issues that the medical profession just couldn't fix. When I finally took a step back and took a serious look at the intricate interwoven connections of all of this that was going on in my life changed forever. Today, we're going to be taking a look at these critical pieces that I added during the health journey and some that I took away. I'm on a mission to make sure that no lovely ever suffers like I did. It was miserable. I help busy professionals live vibrant and vitalized lives as they pursue their ultimate dreams, and we have a lot of fun along the way. Today, we're going to be talking about that important connection between the gut, the microbiome, which are all of the good and bad bacteria that live in our gut, the immune system, and how these impact every area of our health, including weight. That might surprise you. I promise you that there are going to be light bulbs going off everywhere. So let's get down to the business of building health. So this is some of what you're going to learn today. At the end, I'll be sharing some 6 powerful health building strategies, very easy for you to implement. The connection between stress, gut, and immune health, toxins and hormones, yep, they're all related, and why you can't lose weight and keep it off potentially. How a gentle cleanse can help change your life and the benefits of that gentle cleanse. Why you can't lose weight and keep it off. How toxins affect your gut health, immune health, and your hormonal health. It's all connected. So just a disclaimer, I just want you to know that this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only, and solely as a self-help tool for your own use. I'm not providing medical, psychological, or nutrition therapy advice. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat any health problems or illnesses without consulting with your own medical professional. Always seek the advice of your own medical practitioner and/or mental health practitioner about any specific health situation that you find yourself in. So way back, 400 years BC, Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said all disease begins in the gut. Very fortuitous. And we know today that this is absolutely true. The science is off the charts and new studies are coming out every day. Keeping your gut healthy is critical for building health. Your gut is connected directly or indirectly to every single organ and system in your body. Your daily habits and your choices greatly impact the gut and that microbiome, including your sleep patterns, stress levels, diet and nutrition, your activity level, and so much more. So what does this all mean for your health? Oh, did you know that the human body is actually made up of more microbial cells than human cells? Human cells account for only 43%. So those microbes get the final say, and boy, do they. So we better keep them happy. So let's see what we can do about that. So we're going to talk about the connection between the gut and the immune health. So this is a diagram here that's very, very basic, but it is very helpful in demonstrating what we're going to be talking about. This is from Dr. Vincent Pedre. So you'll see on the left the healthy gut situation, and then on the right, you're going to see the leaky gut situation. And what you see down here, about 3/4 of the way down, you're going to see some little hand projections that kind of light green, light blue. So these are the intestinal mucosal cells. Now, you'll also see some little lines that are drawn between each one of those, and those are called the tight junctions. It's very important. So when we're talking about the tight junctions, if they're connected, you're going to be able to get through just the small molecules, like the nutrients that we need for health. But in the situation over here, on the right with the leaky gut. It might be on your left. But those junctions are compromised. They're irritated or they're broken. And all of the endotoxins from the bad bacteria, the pathogens, the immune cells, antibodies, everything goes directly into the bloodstream, which is that little pink strip down below those hand figures. We don't want that. So what happens is that as those are broken, you're getting all of those, the yeast and parasites as well, through into the bloodstream. And your immune system starts mounting attacks on those foreign invaders. They're not supposed to be there. And you can end up with inflammation, food sensitivities, autoimmune disorders, all kinds of things. So we're going to talk a little bit about this and what we can do to prevent any of this leaky gut situation. So after I finished my slides and I closed up my computer, I went about my reading as I usually do. And I came across this and I thought, I got to put this in here. It was totally on point. But this is from a functional medicine doctor's point of view. Some of you may have heard of Dr. Mark Hyman. Dr. Hyman is the founder and director of the Ultra Wellness Center, the head of strategy and innovation at the Cleveland Clinic Center for Functional Medicine. He was actually a founder there as well. A 13-time New York Times bestselling author, board president for clinical affairs for the Institute for Functional Medicine. He's a pretty important dude. So this is what he has to say. The health of your gut determines what nutrients are absorbed and what toxins, allergens, and microbes are kept out. And therefore, it's directly linked to the health of the total organism, which of course is our body. So as we saw in the previous figure, you want to make sure that those tight junctions are strong. We don't want those leaking anything that's not supposed to be into the bloodstream. But I want you to know too that when we have a healthy gut, not only are we absorbing those nutrients and not the bad things, but we're also producing nutrients in the gut. So we mentioned 70 to 80% of your immune system resides in the gut. So when your gut is a hot mess and the lining is irritated and permeable and all of these bad bacteria and yeast and unhealthy food get into the bloodstream, then we've got a problem. The immune system, in its incredible wisdom, attacks those foreign invaders. And in that process, it causes extra collateral damage in those areas. And what it results in is systemic inflammation, potentially chronic disease, and autoimmune disorders. Now, if you're wanting to delve into this a little bit and see if this might be problematic for you, a couple of markers you can ask your doctor to run would be the homocysteine and the C-reactive protein, or CRP. And these are very telling as far as your inflammatory markers in your blood. So what happens when we throw a few more wrenches into the works? So wrench number one, stress. Now, we know that over the last year, it's been pretty tough, and most of us anyway, have been pretty stressed. But right now I've got a 7-month stress course going on. There are ways to mitigate it, and there are ways that we can deal with it. But that's another story for another day. Right now we're going to talk about how that stress affects digestion, gut health, and immunity. So when the body is stressed, the primary energy, the body's energy, is directed to the specific purpose of fending off that saber-toothed tiger. And our digestion slows to a halt. You might notice on stressful days or during stressful weeks, you might end up with constipation because everything has just slowed down. As the digestion slows, it sets us up for malabsorption. We're just not going to absorb those nutrients. And we end up with nutritional deficiencies, especially the minerals and some of the B vitamins. These vitamins and minerals are the most important ones because these are the ones that help us mitigate the stress in our lives. So we've got a double whammy going on, right? We've got the malabsorption because of the stress, and we're not getting the nutrients that we need to mitigate it. Stress also raises cortisol and insulin levels. And remember that insulin is a hormone. So when one hormone's out of whack, you're throwing off the whole cascade. And this results in blood sugar imbalances, hormonal issues, weight gain potentially, and toxicity. Not a lot of fun. So, stress can lead to constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating, and other unpleasant digestive issues. And again, as we discussed, that 70 to 80% of the immune system is located in the gut. And because of the impact of the stress there, the immune system is also adversely affected. So, learning simple tools to reduce and manage our stress is essential for fighting off even the mildest common cold. So, wrench number two is going to be toxins. So, did you know that toxins can actually mess with our gut microbiome, all of that the composition of the good and the bacteria, good and bad bacteria in our gut? When it comes to creating a healthier gut ecosystem, detoxification plays a significant role. Your gut is just filled with all of these wonderful bacteria, and we do need them there, but we want them in a balance. Your digestive system can't function without them. Like I said, the good and the bad, and they coexist. So, exposure to toxins kills the good bacteria, which allows for the overgrowth of the bad bacteria. And once that starts happening, it happens pretty quickly. So, we don't want that to even get going, which in turn causes dysbiosis, which is that unbalance that we're talking about, irritation of the gut wall and those tight junctions, and potentially leaky gut, like we saw in the diagram. During that whole process, we can end up with inflammation, chronic disease, and autoimmune disorders. So, wrench number two continued. We're talking about that connection between toxins, weight, and gut now. How does the weight play into all of this? So, this relationship is one that I really wish that I had known years ago. I had to find out the hard way. But as a person begins to lose weight, hopefully in a manner that just allows for fat loss, not muscle loss, the release of those fat cells serves to mobilize those stored fat soluble toxins. So the circulating toxins now have the potential to decrease thyroid function and throw your hormonal balance off. So that's key when we're talking about weight loss, of course. Have you ever hit that dreaded plateau? This could be what was at play. We want to make sure that we're disposing of these toxins as expeditiously as possible and not require the liver to continue recycling and recycling and recycling them again. It just makes for very low energy for us. So, what can we do? Gentle cleanse can help in this disposition process and getting rid of these toxins in a quick manner, and hopefully avoid that dreaded plateau. The cleanse itself is not designed as a weight loss program, but it's a very great way to get a jump start going. So here's another piece in the whole weight loss struggle that maybe you haven't considered. When we're talking about toxins, and in this first one is xenoestrogens, which are also called endocrine disruptors, they are 1,000 times stronger than our natural estrogen. Can you even imagine what kind of a wrench they're throwing into the mix here by giving us stronger estrogens than what we already have and throwing off the balance? And we also have organophosphates, carbamates, steroids, antibiotics, and antithyroid meds. They can all alter the body's metabolism. So weight loss mechanisms become skewed, and then it becomes difficult to lose the weight. Now, if you're interested in reading more on this, a great read would be The Body Restoration Plan by Dr. Paula Bailey Hamilton. And she was a true pioneer in this field, and the work has continued, and even today it's expanding greatly. And all of this work today is based on her work years ago. Another read here is History of Obesogen Field, looking back to look forward. And if you want these links, let me know. I've got links throughout this. So if you need these, I can always email them to you as well. You'll also be getting a copy of this recording. So signs of a toxic body and what we need for a gentle cleanse. So some things that you might look for are low energy, sugar cravings, gas and bloating, mood issues. Did you know that actually mood is related to our gut and the food that we eat? I took a course recently from the University of Cork in Ireland, very interesting about the connection between food and mood. fluid retention, headaches and migraines, caffeine addiction, candida overgrowth, which was my situation, weight gain, or weight loss resistance. So where are you on this whole gut and immune health spectrum? And what areas are you actually struggling in? So signs of poor gut health, and you're going to see some crossovers here. So again, constipation or diarrhea, abnormal stools. And guys, if you don't know what an abnormal stool looks like, reach out. I have what's called the Bristol stool chart. It diagrams everything and where you should be on that whole spectrum. It's important to know that. Bloating and gas, headaches, general fatigue, mood swings, suppressed immunity, skin problems like eczema and acne, which are actually most often related to the gut, food allergies, and autoimmune disorders. So symptoms of dysbiosis, that imbalance in the gut, leaky gut, or yeast overgrowth. Again, crossovers here. Now I starred the ones, the items here are starred if they're linked together, the gut and the immune system. So you've got autoimmune issues, food allergies and sensitivities, seasonal allergies, inflammation throughout the body, gas and bloating, chronic pain and disease, digestive upsets, and migraines. So you'll notice those crossovers, those starred items are the gut and the immune system. So what can we do about all of this? Well, we want to improve the gut health to improve the immune health. Remember, because the immune system lives there, the health of the gut is going to determine our immune health. So Dr. Sandy Bravacra is a good friend of mine. She's a PhD in molecular and cellular biology, and she's helped our family through some trying times. She says that a sick body can't rally. It can't get well if it's busy detoxifying pesticides and other chemicals. Cleansing and healing the GI system is step number one in detoxification. So as you've seen, the health of the immune system is directly related to the health of the gut. And when we improve the health of the gut, we know the immune system improves. We don't even have to do anything extra. It just automatically happens. So if we look back at what I shared about my health and what I was going through with the gut issues, we know that it was directly related to the gut issues, immune issues, totally linked. Boy, sister, I wish I'd had this information decades earlier than what I did get it. My journey began in 2007, and I haven't looked back. The steps I took to improve my health mirror those, the steps that take place in my upcoming program. It's a gentle cleanse and clean eating program. Everyone's path is slightly different. People will go slower, some faster. I had to go really slow because I was reacting to everything. But this is a fantastic place to start. So are you beginning to see these intricate interconnections between the gut, stress, immune health, toxicity, and weight? How do we begin putting all of these pieces together and building health? So the gentle cleanse is a good place to start, as I mentioned. So what can you expect? Well, in my program, we do a 3-week, 3-phase where we're easing into the program. And then the second week is the gentle cleanse. And then the third week is like your lifetime of clean eating. But after you've finished your cleanse and you're getting on that lifetime sustainable clean eating program, you're going to expect better skin, more energy, less gas and bloating and digestive upsets, improved immunity, better moods and mental clarity, improved sleep. That's a big thing for a lot of people. And it's a jump start to weight loss if that's your goal. So what is a gentle cleanse? Well, one thing I want to kind of address here, when you're reading through literature, if you're so inclined, you'll notice that some people call things detoxes and some people call them cleanses. And I have yet to determine, I think people are just using these interchangeably. But for today, for our purposes, we're going to talk about a gentle cleanse. And it's something that your body does naturally, but there are certain things that we can do, very powerful things that we can do to help it along. And that's what we're going to be talking about in my upcoming program. Detox cleansing, it involves removing certain things from our life, like toxins, negativity, stress, inflammatory foods, but it also means adding some things in, like whole foods, good fresh filtered water, liver support, gut support, and of course, stress management techniques. Now, what you'll notice here is it's not just the physical that we address, but it's also the emotional. So the critical components of a healthy cleanse. And I can tell you that all cleanses aren't created equal. And we're going to go through the components that I feel are really important when you're doing this. So the importance of support, especially for the detoxification pathways, while your body naturally detoxifies itself, how well we do it depends on 5 key areas. First, most importantly, is stress, your liver health, your gut health, the level of toxins, nutritional status, and how well the detoxification pathways are working. We'll be providing support in all 5 of those areas. So support area number 1, we talked about the stress. We know it's negative. It negatively impacts our health. So this is just very basic information here. We can dive into more in the program. But breathing exercises are so very helpful. And if you're looking for more resources, check out Dr. Andrew Weil. His name is spelled W-E-I-L. And just put a comma after his name and breathing exercises, and you'll be able to access his. Go very slow if you haven't done them before, but very powerful. I mean, you can turn that stress around in just a very few minutes. Journaling is helpful, meditation, mindfulness exercises, healthy diet, including nutrients needed to mitigate that stress response like we talked about. And of course, we want to supplement the gaps. Exercise. Bonus if you can get out and exercise in nature, right? How stress relieving is that? And of course, we want to make sure we're getting our sleep. Sleep is when we restore our bodies. Our body actually does a lot of repair during sleep. So if you're registering for the Reset, Restore, and Reenergize program, it's my 21-day clean cleanse and clean eating program. You'll receive what I call the Physical and Emotional Wellness Success Kit. We're going to be taking stress reduction and self-care to an entirely new level. So support number 2, we're going to talk about the important liver. In traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is viewed as the most important component in the body's ability to fight off disease. It carries out 700 different functions. It helps balance excess cholesterol, cellular waste, calcium, and glucose. It helps break down environmental toxins and hormones, pharmaceutical and over-the-counter drugs for removal. We don't want those things hanging around. We want to get rid of them. It produces bile, which is essential in the breakdown of fats. If you don't have a gallbladder, like I lost mine, feel free to reach out. There are some things that we can do to help our digestion along with that. Storage of fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. So the liver is our first defense against those toxins. Its detoxification systems, or phases, we call them, have their own biological and biochemical needs, such as oxygen, water, and a unique list of nutrients, and we're going to cover those here in a minute. In addition, we can assist with some specific foods and herbals. If you're doing the cleanse program, you're going to receive your nutritional support products along with that. And one of the products is a milk thistle product, which is wonderful for liver health. It aids in protecting the liver from toxins and oxidative stress. It helps maintain cell integrity, maintain healthy bile flow. Remember, that's what helps break down our fats and aid in the liver's natural detoxification process. So it was one of the most important products in my recovery. So support number 3 is gut health. And we discussed the relevancy of Hippocrates' statement, all disease begins in the gut. We know that immune system lives there. And when we're talking about the gut, we're talking about the GALT, the gut-associated lymphoid tissue. And this is where the immune system lies. It lines the entire digestive tract, primary defense against the invaders entering the bloodstream. We're also talking about the intestinal lining, sometimes called the epithelium. When it gets irritated and inflamed, again, we know that those tight junctions release and the toxins can get right into the bloodstream. How do we keep the gut healthy? Two things we're going to talk about. There are many, but two ways. We want to make sure we're getting our fiber. Fiber produces short chain fatty acids, which is the food for the good bacteria in the gut. Fiber detoxifies the bowel. It binds to the toxins and the cellular waste, including the spent hormones, important, and carries it out through the stool. So how do you get the fibers? You're going to get them through your vegetables, and there are some supportive products that we can also add. Probiotics are wonderful, but I encourage you not to go to the local gas station quick stop and pick up a probiotic. You want to make sure you're getting a really solid product. Some of these probiotics are colonizing, which means that they proliferate in the gut, and some are not, but that's by design. So all of these are going to work in a little bit different ways. Choose the one that's right for you, and the goal is to get diversity into the gut. As we get older, our diversity kind of dwindles, and we have to take some steps to kind of get those the diversity built back up again. So here's just a very basic diagram of the digestive system. Just a couple of things to point out here. You may not know that digestion actually starts in the mouth. In two ways, actually. So we have the structural breakdown, obviously, where we're chewing the food. But additionally, we have the saliva, which contains an enzyme called amylase. And amylase is very important for breaking down starches and sugars. Maybe you know people that have a habit of scarfing down their food and they're done with their meal in 5 or 10 minutes. Well, you may also notice that they have some digestive upsets, maybe an hour later. When we're talking about amylase and the starches, if those aren't broken down in the system, they can ferment. And that's when you end up with the gas and the bloating and the misery. So we just want to make sure we're addressing that. Chew your food really well. And then we're going down, you see the liver and the gallbladder on the left and the stomach and pancreas on the right. Now, if you're having digestive issues, one nugget I'd like to share is that sleeping on your left side can actually be helpful for digestion. So just that little change can sometimes make a big difference. And that large gold braid that circles the gut there, that's your large intestine. Small intestine, the pink portion there is the small intestine. So just a couple of tips there. So support number 4, we're talking about addressing nutritional deficiencies to support detoxification pathways. We want to make sure, again, that those pathways are open and there are certain nutrients that we're going to make sure that we're getting. B complex, we say complex because all of the B vitamins work synergistically together. And if we're leaving one or two out, we may be missing the big benefit. A lot of companies actually leave out the more expensive pieces, so read your labels and make sure you're getting a complete complex. Digestive enzymes can be helpful for many, even though we have the pancreatic enzymes. Adding some digestive enzymes can be helpful. We want to make sure that we're getting N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine is a precursor to our master antioxidant glutathione. And what that means is that when we take in the N-acetylcysteine, our body will produce the glutathione. So we have minerals, selenium, zinc, magnesium, and manganese, taurine. I have a tea that contains it. I love it. Antioxidants. They're the ones that neutralize the free radicals, right? C, E, beta carotene, alpha lipoic acid, and alpha linoleic acid. And with the beta carotene, it's a precursor to preformed vitamin A. Vitamin A can become toxic if we get too much of it in our bloodstream. So when we take in the beta carotene, because it's a precursor, your body will take it and use what it needs and release the rest. Essential fatty acids, so wonderful in so many areas of health, heart health and brain health, actually, and inflammation. Foods, very easy to add these foods. Brassicas, your cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, collards, arugula, kale, limonene containing foods, your organic citrus peel. Support number 5 is actively reducing toxic load. Okay, as we're trying to cleanse our bodies, we certainly don't want to be adding more toxins in. So we're going to be intentional about how we go about adding products. Skincare and personal care, read your labels. There are so many nasty chemicals in some of these. So read your labels. Cleaning and household products, we've been locked up in our homes for a year now, and so many people have been using the toxins in their products. So try and find some natural sources of cleaning products and household products. If you need sources for any of these things, I'm happy to help you with those resources. Pots and pans and cooking utensils, these are things that we sometimes don't even think about, but there are a lot of nasty chemicals in non-stick cookware and utensils. So try and if you have a lot of these products, just try replacing them one by one as you can afford it. I think you'll be very happy with the results. Food, we want fresh and organic when possible. Canned goods, look for canned goods that say no BPA. We don't want BPA in the lining that's next to our food. Skip the garden chemicals and find natural alternatives. Sometimes that's difficult. You may have to work a little bit at that. Watch your furniture, carpet, and cupboards. Flame retardants, stain resistors, and formaldehyde. We had a client years ago who replaced all of the carpet in her home and ended up in the hospital because of all the toxins. So obviously I've shared a lot of information here. We don't always have all the information we need, but once we know better, we can do better, right? So that's the idea. So here are the 6 powerful cleanse strategies for gut and immune health that I promised earlier. Very simple to do. Don't have to do a program, just some suggestions that you can start doing right away. So number 1, clean up your diet. Start by reducing foods that are known to upset the gut. If you've got food sensitivities and you're reacting to these foods, just get rid of them for a while and then do some work on the gut and see where you're at. Processed foods, junk foods, refined grains, sugar is probably the worst. If you can get rid of your sugar, I know it's difficult if you have a sugar habit that's related to a gut problem. If you need some help, feel free to reach out. Instead, incorporate nutrient-dense juices, smoothies, soups, and deliciously healthy entrees. You want to eat foods such as avocados, spinach, beets, carrots, green leafy vegetables, asparagus, apples, nuts, dark chocolate. Yes, dark chocolate. Try and make sure that it's at least 70% raw cacao. And cruciferous vegetables. These foods have powerful antioxidants. They help to reduce fat buildup in the liver. You've probably heard of people that have fatty liver disease. So we don't want that happening. These also help break down the toxins and support the detoxification process. While we're cleansing, it's best to buy organic to avoid toxins like GMOs, pesticides, fungicides, herbicides. Consuming toxins while we're cleansing just doesn't make sense. So number 2, drink clean, clear, filtered water. If you don't have an RO system, just pick up a pitcher that has a nice, good carbon filter. And again, if you need access to some of these, let me know. Okay, number 3, support your liver. Okay, we've been talking about this, but here are a couple of additional recommendations. You know that the toxins can cause the damage and dysfunction in the liver, and many practitioners suggest the milk thistle supplement, which we talked about. But foods, bitter foods such as dandelion leaves, raw radishes, and bitter greens are also recommended to promote bile excretion, and we know that that's going to help with the detoxification process. As we discussed, you can also kick up your cruciferous vegetables. They contain what's called DIM, a substance that helps to detoxify the liver. And then we're going to reduce the toxins, obviously. So exposure to antibiotics, heavy metals, pesticides, artificial sweeteners, these all disrupt the gut microbiome and create ill health. And here are some others. I'm just going to go through them real quickly here. You'll have this recording so you can kind of delve into this a little bit more if you're so inclined. Pesticides and herbicides, heavy metals, aluminum chips can sometimes be found in antiperspirants. Phthalates are a really big deal, people. Read your labels. We're even talking infertility here. So watch especially your personal care products. Furans and dioxins, chemical solvents are found in dishwasher and laundry products. Parabens, again, in your personal care products. And here are the chemicals that are found in the nonstick cookware. So if you need some alternatives, again, hit me up. I'm happy to help. Removing these chemicals is essential if we're going to detoxify long-term. And we don't want to just think about this as like a once or twice a year thing. We want to make sure that we're detoxifying consistently and sustainably. Number 5, we want to get out of that fight or flight mode that the stress causes, right? So stress activates that fight or flight response. And we want to make sure we're getting into the rest and digest nervous system. And ways to do that, number 1 would be your breathing. Again, check out Andrew Weil, W-E-I-L, and his breathing exercises. Restorative yoga. A great pose is just what they call feet up the wall. And it's exactly like it sounds. You just lie down on your back and you scoot up against the wall and you raise your feet up against the wall. Doing this for just 5 minutes can be very, very helpful. Epsom salts baths are wonderful with the magnesium. It really does help to relax and soothe tired muscles. Again, these are just basics. If you have high blood pressure, just be careful with some of these. Anything, you want to start out slowly. Number 6, we want to fill in the nutritional gaps with well-researched products and nutrients, multi-mineral supplement, the omega-3s, again, as we talked about, probiotics, and acetylcysteine and B complex. These are so wonderful for so many different areas of health. So we've talked a lot about how all these connections are made. I hope that you're seeing the connections and what they might mean for your health. So I want to let you know that you'll be receiving from me the 3-day immune reset guide as my gift for your attending. And in the guide, you're going to find 3 full days of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, yummy, healthy foods. And you're also going to find some wonderful suggestions on how to get your immune system resetting. Okay, so if you want to take this a little further and explore how great you can really feel, this is my program. It's called Reset, Restore, and Reenergize. It's 20 to 21 days long. So imagine waking up every morning feeling energized and ready to rock your day, tapping into happy feel-good hormones for a wonderful, joyful life, restoring your mind, body, and spirit, feeling like your amazing self again, taking on the day with exuberance and mental clarity, hitting the reset button for a happy, healthier, more fulfilled, and balanced world. So just a couple of slides here. So what you'll be getting with the program, you'll receive pre and post questionnaires so you can compare your baseline health and symptoms to how you feel at the end. You'll receive an extensive clean eating guide, and you'll receive 3 separate recipe guides, 125 pages of recipes. One will be a vegetarian, one an omnivore, and then there's a gorgeous one for the cleanse week, specifically for that purpose. You'll receive shopping lists and suggested meals to make it really easy. You'll receive a daily schedule for each phase. We'll be very clear about what's happening and how you're going to be going about this. A food diary to track what's going on with problematic foods, toxicity and stress guide, talk a little bit more about that. And of course, your physical and emotional wellness success kit, self-care taken to an entirely new level. And along with the program, we will be receiving all of your nutritional support products. And of course, you'll be my guest in my VIP Facebook group with other like-minded people that are going through this process at the same time. It's always wonderful to have others' feedback, but I'll be popping in and doing webinars and giving support along the way. So right now I do have an early bird bonus going on. You'll receive 2 discovery calls with me free, one at the beginning and one at the end. And you'll also receive, this is my most popular spring ebook. It's called The Top Detox Drinks to Help Keep You Healthy. You'll be sipping on these all spring and summer long. They're just really yummy. Here's what one of my clients has to say. This is Mary Ann. She said her main goal when starting the one-on-one coaching was to address her pre-diabetes and to gain control of her eating. She wanted to lose 20 pounds. She says, Debbie's one-on-one coaching helped me to reach this goal by helping me stay accountable and motivated and to help break the goals down into achievable steps. The biggest tangible changes I have noticed since beginning the program have been that I am consistently exercising now. I lost 20 pounds. My A1C dropped almost 3 points. And for anyone that hasn't tried to do that, that's a monumental task. The most significant overall change I have noticed has been that I can ride my bike again. I can get into so many more yoga poses again. It used to be hard for me to bend down and pick up something, not any longer. I would describe Debbie's support as realistic, supportive, creative, and knowledgeable. I would recommend this program to people who want to get healthier. And Mary Ann also says that she is continuing with her health journey, and now she has blown past her goal weight. Her A1C is now within normal range, as well as her cholesterol, which had been up for 20 years, and she hadn't been able to get that under control, and her triglycerides as well. So, woohoo, Mary Ann, way to go. So guys, I just want you to know this program was a true blessing to me. I was decades in misery. It's worked for my clients, and I know it can work for you. So let's chat to discuss the possibilities about what might lie ahead for you. If you want to get hold of me, you can certainly reach me at through my email. It's Debbie, DEBBIE, at Coach Debbie Miller, MILLER.com. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.